I can't really remember too much about it. I was riding my bike, I was hit from behind. I was in a coma after I woke up. I wasn't talking, I had this compulsion to draw. Drawing after drawing after, yeah, that's the main thing I can remember about it. I used to draw like copy things, but I wasn't really too much into it. But then after my accident, I started drawing the Aboriginal Yowie Quinkin compulsively. I couldn't stop, it was subconscious, yeah. It's like Australia's version of Bigfoot, and it's like a Aboriginal character. Called them Yetis at first, and then I started calling them Quinkins after the Aboriginal Quinkins. What it is, it's a figment of imagination, and I only started seeing it after I had the brain injury, and that's what I communicate with, and I just do depictions of that character in sort of like forms or scenarios to try and explain how I perceive things and express myself, sort of thing. When I woke up from the head injury, there was a lot of anime or manga on the TV in the hospital, and I heard about Takashi Murakami's Superflat Art Movement, and that was the only sort of movement I could see my characters going into, so I sort of chose that one as a form of inspiration, and it just keeps inspiring me, his art movement, yeah. I reckon when you get hit on the head, you get frontal lobe damage, and the other side of your brain compensates. Like, you're good at geometry and that, like I'm good at the drafting, mechanical drafting and all that from it, but I didn't know what it was till they told me. Acquired Savant syndrome, yeah. I reckon I've got aspects of it. I did a night course in the 3D stuff, and then I learned a lot of it on the job. I'd done the boiler making for ships, conveyors, worked at Varley's, the defence contracts, F-35. Well, I've finished up with it now. You do 500 drawings, and then when you do another 500. So it's too much, overwhelmed with brain injury. So I'd rather do the art. I'm using the bathroom, the bedroom, or anywhere I can, because it's like a compulsion. I'll do it automatically, you know. So it wasn't really a case of where I was going to do it, I just did it compulsively, yeah. But it was a way to process it, because it was like hard to comprehend things and express things or communicate, and problems with communication. I've got Asperger's too, and didn't know I had it for a long time. When they told me I had it, it explained a lot of things about misconceptions and stuff like that, and I found out like it was diagnosed really later in life, so yeah, it was kind of like a reprieve when they told me I had it. So don't understand people's like social cues and that, interpreting if they're angry, happy or sad, and it's kind of can be tricky to do, but it's part of the acquired brain injury or acquired Savant syndrome. So like I compulsively did more and more and become like a outlet, develop lines of communication, yeah. Well, you create a world of your own, or you create scenarios because you don't understand the real world ones, so you create your own scenario, your own world. It's based on Takashi Murakami's Superflat Art Movement, where it's like quantum, so you interpret it from a Westerner's point of view in a Australian sort of context. So it's not like that it's Japanese art, it's outside that, so it's quantum. It's like a virtual sort of conceptual art movement. I interpret the quantum equations into like a form of abstract painting. I can get like wave functions, and you can do a lot of like spirals or shading with the equation, and you interpret the mathematics of that into a rendering. There's all different ones, and you can, how long's a piece of string, you can find the one you want to use to render a certain aspect of your painting, yeah. I was doing the triptychs, and I cut a stencil. You can do 3 canvases relatively easier than you can to paint them all. So I just sort of like used the stencils as a way to progress. I've seen Brett Whiteley's The American Dream in Arco, New South Wales, and he had all these doors and he bolted them together with hinges, and it went around the corner. He painted in New York, and I thought I could try build a multi-panel painting. I wanted to do a 10-metre one, but this is the one I can fit in there. The stencil's good to do it, and I like Francis Bacon paintings too. Like, he inspires me, like his abstract work. When you do it, people think it's really easy, but it's laborious. But I wanted to create like a picture you couldn't look away from, like you were just wondering how did he do it, sort of thing. But it's sort of a surprise for me too when I do it, so it surprises me. So yeah, that's what I like about it. I have an overall concept in my head, sketch it onto the cardboard, cut the stencil, lie it on the ground, and then put the 20-cent coins on it, airbrush around it, and then I do the acrylic over the top. Sometimes I pour it on there too, like Jackson Pollock. Yeah, so it started with just the stencils, but it's acrylic as well now too, yeah. I've had exhibitions at Barangaroo, the Japan Foundation, Art Gallery New South Wales. I did one in the brain injury thing there and did talks, and I've had exhibitions at Gosford Regional Art Gallery too. Inspires me, yeah, inspires me. At the start I didn't even consider that at the start, but once I started doing it, it's like I could do this with it, you know, and it become like a progression, yeah. I want to have a big auction and sell enough to fund for a studio where I can go and paint, yeah, a precast concrete studio, because if I had a space I could do a bit more. I amaze myself like that I've even done this stuff, you know, sort of that's what it comes from. You don't even, subconscious thing, you don't even realise you're doing it, yeah. I'm most proud of you getting recognition for what I do, expressing yourself through that, your thoughts and ideas. Whereas opposed to before that, they just sort of try to stereotype you, but now you sort of have a voice, gives you an individual voice, yeah.